It's the final Zoom meeting of this semester at the University of Houston, Bauer College of Business. This is Personal Finance, and I am Jim Munchback, Certified Financial Planner, and we are going to get started in just a couple of minutes. Got some folks in the Zoom room waiting, but if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, please leave a thumbs up, comment, let me know you're watching, especially if you're a student. This week, we don't actually have, well, I'm not going to say it just yet. I'll say it when we get started. A couple of secret things that we don't talk about until we get started. And we don't get started until 5 minutes after 10 a.m., and it's only 9:59 a.m., I think, according to my Apple Watch. So let me just jump on over to where I need to be, and we will get the session started. I think I'm going to jump on over to Zoom. I guess I'm in Zoom. I need one of those really big screens. I don't have a really big screen. I have a decent screen, but I need a massive screen. I need like 3 screens to do what I'm doing right now. So I'm going to go ahead and admit the folks in the Zoom room. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Zoom room. If you're here, let me know you're here. I can see you're here, but let me know you can hear me if you would. Hey, Ava, Alani, Christina, good to see you guys. Today is our last Zoom meeting, and I sure appreciate you guys being here. You're so faithful, and I appreciate it. So I'm going to just hope that you will let me know you can hear. Yes. Yeah, really, Ava, it is. So one of the things that thanks for letting me know you can hear me. It is crazy. It's crazy. Every semester goes by so fast. And when you get to be my age, every year goes by so fast. And you will, I'm sure you've heard that from the old people in your life, that every year goes faster and faster. So enjoy these years while you're young and you're in college and you're enjoying life. Time flies the older you get, and it really flies. I hope it flew for you, I think, because time flies when you're having fun. I just got back last night from a really great trip to Lansing, Michigan. That's where my mom lives. That's where I grew up. That's where I got introduced to the snow shovel. So I just got back late last night. So, yep, today is our final lesson, really, in personal finance. It's really not the final lesson. I hope you will continue to follow me, and I'll share lots of lessons along the way. And if you ever have any requests, if you ever have any questions, if you ever have any issues related to personal finance, then I hope you'll reach out and just let me know, and I'd be happy to give you an answer and maybe do a tutorial video on my YouTube channel, which, by the way, is streaming now, I think. Yep, there it is. So I'm going to change that to this and just remind everybody this won't really matter to you, but if you ever want to follow like next semester's class, you can still go to the same domain, the same link, uhplaylist.com. That's something I introduced this semester to. Good morning, Alani. Your dad's from Michigan? Really, Ava? Where in Michigan? I went fishing Saturday in Michigan, far away from Lansing. Not far, but I know lots of places in Michigan. You're not too sure. Well, Michigan is like a mitten, and Lansing is right in the middle. And then there's the lower peninsula, that's the mitten. And then right at the very top of the mitten, there's what's called the upper peninsula. And it's a very beautiful place with very few inhabitants, but it is beautiful. And then you've got this huge bridge that goes from the lower peninsula to the upper peninsula. It's called the Mackinac Bridge. And there's a little island there. Last time I was in Lansing. Oh, Battle Creek is a cool place. I interviewed in Battle Creek. I was supposed to be a State Farm agent in I'd planned to be a State Farm agent in Michigan, and they rejected me in Battle Creek. That's where their regional office is. So then I went on to Pennsylvania to become a State Farm agent, and then back to Houston. But yep, Michigan, that's home. That's where I have all my schema. That's where I grew up. And that's where I've been all week, and it was great. Beautiful weather, cool, sunny, windy, beautiful. I have never, I've been to Oregon, but Oregon is pretty. You mean you've heard, yeah, you heard it's pretty in Oregon. It is. My wife has family in Oregon. She's been there. I've been there, but only passing through. Yep, had a great time, thanks. My dad passed 3 or 4 years ago. I think 4 years ago. I should know, maybe 3. But anyway, with one parent surviving every hour, every trip is very, very special. And so it was very special. Going back next month for Christmas, I'm driving to Michigan with a big vehicle filled with my family. We're going to go spend Christmas again in Lansing with my mom and with our family. My son's coming in from Alaska. He lives there in Anchorage. He's an air traffic controller. Very cool place to live. Very cool job. Anyway, yep. So I hope you guys have a great Christmas, great holidays. I hope you enjoy time with your family. And yep, we will drive safe. We'll have 5 drivers in the car, so nobody will have to do it all by themselves. So, well, it is 10:04 a.m. And, before we get started, there's my race car. I kind of like that race car. It reminds me of a race car, and I kind of like race cars, except they're kind of hard to get into and out of if you've ever been in a race car. I've driven some race cars, and they're kind of fun. Anyway, whoa, I just hit the wrong button. Back to the race car. Did I get rid of the race car? I did. Okay. All right, so if you guys, you know what, Alani, you can have 10 extra points for that question, but I'm going to go ahead. It's 10:05 a.m., and since you asked, Alani, about the class collaboration, congratulations to you, and thank you very much. And by the way, I want to say thank you to every single one of you who helped me this semester start a new tradition. It was a necessary tradition. It was a kind of a feature of this semester that I've never done before, and I did it for a reason, and that is to ask you to help me to remember to announce a unique, new, special class collaboration discussion point for each lesson. And I know you know why I did that. I think you do. Let me tell you why real quick. We've discovered that a lot of students don't think they need to watch the Zoom meetings. Even though it's an asynchronous course, it's so confusing. Not to me, and not to you, not to most of you. My A students are not confused by this. But a lot of students are confused by the idea that an asynchronous course still requires you to watch the lectures that are streamed or saved or made available on demand. I mean, that was always the intention of an asynchronous course. It is a requirement for me to be available to my students and every other instructor at least once a week. And so I do that through a Zoom meeting. And in this course, you're required to watch the Zoom meeting. You're not required to be here in the Zoom meeting, and that's what gets confusing. Or at least it seemed like it got confusing for lots of students, a good number of students, probably 25% of students. So to solve that, I made this secret class collaboration thing. And you guys played along really well and you participated. And for that, I want to reward you with 1,000 extra points. But I can't give you 1,000. I'll give you a few. But I do appreciate it. Seriously, I appreciate your contribution. And not just those of you who reminded me each week, but in the last few weeks, as a result of that change in policy in this course, I've seen a significant increase in class engagement. And I wish I would have done it a long time ago. I probably should have, but I'm glad we discovered it. And it was this semester that we implemented that. So thank you again, all of you, for your help in implementing that new strategy, and also all of you who are participating at that level. I hope it turns out to be helpful, and I will continue to try to make those class collaboration issues relevant and fun and interesting, and it makes it so much more interesting to me to grade your weekly assignments and see that you actually were with us, even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. So thank you for that. Alani, this week there is no class collaboration. So you still get the points, and I appreciate the reminder, but this is our last, really it's our last class. It's our last lecture. It's the last assignment, and I'm going to talk about the last assignment here for a minute. I'm going to, let's see, I think I'm just going to, I'll review a little bit. This was last week's lesson. Last week's homework assignment was tax allocation strategies, and you needed to update your plan with some tax qualified accounts, and that's what we covered last week. I'm not really going to spend a lot of time reviewing it, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions. That was last week's assignment. This week's assignment is just it's really just a review. It's called the Blueprint for Financial Success, and it just gives you an opportunity. I didn't create a post for this week because it's a really simple assignment, and it is optional. So let me just talk about that for a minute. I told you guys from the beginning that one of my goals throughout the semester was to make it easy for you to get sufficient points to earn an A before we get to the very end of the semester, so that you'll have the opportunity to spend more time working on those courses where you do have a final exam, where it's a little bit more of an intensive topic. This course, Introduction to Personal Finance, is designed to help set the table for you to become successful in your financial life. And to do that, we've had some very unique strategies. The main one is you build a financial plan, and over the semester you have built a comprehensive financial plan. We've used some assumptions some assumptions that we hope to be true, but they're not actually true. So you built a financial plan based on some projections that you hope come to be true in your life. And so I set that up for you to build a financial plan, and you did that. That's what you've done. And the capstone assignment, which I'm going to talk about for a few minutes, is kind of a culmination of all of that. So the capstone assignment, I don't have a review of the caps. I don't have like a capstone. There is a capstone review in Money Study Group, but I'm not going to go over that today. If you have questions as you get ready to start the capstone assignment, that assignment will be posted next week, and you have 2 weeks to finish it. This week's assignment, though, it is optional. So if you have, let's see, how many points? Do you guys know how many points you have in Blackboard, in Canvas right now? And do you know how many points you need to get an A? Let's make sure you know that. And I think hopefully you do. You need 950 points. And you still have the capstone assignment, which is worth 200 points. And if you've gotten all your points all the way up to now, if you've done every assignment and you haven't had any real issues, you will get the 200 points on the capstone assignment. If you've done the assignments and you've understood them and they've built on one another throughout the semester, then when you do the capstone assignment, it will be pretty easy. It's really just a review where you put it all together. So don't stress over the capstone assignment, but spend some time and review it and make sure that each element kind of represents each weekly assignment we've done along the way. So if you got some deductions on any of those, then make sure you go back and spend a little time and review those sections, those elements of your capstone, because you will get deductions on the capstone if you made the same mistakes that you got deductions on in your assignment. But if you got no deductions in your assignment, chances are you're going to be fine in the capstone assignment. But do watch the capstone review video that's in Money Study Group, because I highlight some of the issues that really create the most common deductions. So do that. And if you have any questions about it, you're welcome to reach out to me. If I need to do another tutorial video to help you along, you have 2 weeks to do the capstone assignment. So a couple bullet points. I should have created a bullet point instead of just playing with my race car. But let me tell you the bullet points, and you'll want to make a mental note of these. Number 1 is the capstone assignment is a 2-week assignment. It will be posted next week. So that's a 2-week assignment. You can start on it now. You can see the capstone assignment. You can get to work on it. You can prepare your capstone document, and you'll be ready to post that and be good to go. But you have 2 weeks to do it. Second bullet point about the capstone assignment, number 1 is it's a 2-week due date. Number 2, the second bullet point is you do not get extra points for turning it in early. But when you turn in your capstone assignment, which is required, okay, you can't blow off the capstone assignment. I don't care how many points you have to do the capstone. And when you post your capstone assignment, when you submit it, that's when I will add your class participation. So if you've done well, if you haven't missed assignments, you'll get the full 200 points. So that's 400 points. So today you can look at your Canvas points, and if you have 550 points, 550 plus 400, if I'm doing my mathematics correctly, that's 950 points, and that is an A. So if you're close to that, I would suggest you do this week's assignment, which is worth 50 points. If you turn it in early, it's worth 60 points. So you may want to do that. It's an easy assignment. It's a review. It's a time for you to get to share with me what you learned this semester about personal finance. And so I'm going to jump over to, let me see if I can find it. I wanted to, that's not going to work. Let me see. I'm going to go, hold on, I've got to find, I should know where this is. I'm looking for free tick. Can anybody tell me where to go to find free tick on my little fun little button thing here? I'm not seeing it. I'm learning how to use, this is another thing I did this semester, is I created this interesting, I didn't create, I created a strategy, a system for using this tool. It's a great little thing called a Stream Deck. All of my smart friends have been using this, and I just started using it. So I have a button here somewhere for free tick. Remember free tick? Free tick is the 7 elements of a financial plan. 7 elements of financial planning. The first one is financial independence, financial freedom. It represents retirement. You learned a lot about retirement this semester. So I'm just going to ask you to share in this assignment. It's really the blueprint for financial success is a strategy, an approach that involves all 7 of the elements in a financial plan. Personal finance. The first one is F. Free tick is the acronym. Financial independence, financial freedom, or another word for that is retirement. So that's the number 1 probably most popular reason that people do financial planning is for that, for retirement. So I'm just going to ask you to share a little bit with me about what you learned this semester about retirement planning and how you feel about that. So that's what it's super easy assignment, but you go through all 7 elements of financial planning. You just reflect a little bit and write a little bit about what you learned this semester in each of these areas. The next one is R, risk management. We talked a little bit about insurance. Risk management is mostly focused on insurance planning. And so you didn't learn a ton. You did not become an expert this semester in insurance, but you certainly learned a little bit about insurance planning. And so that was one of the That's one of the elements. So that's free tick, FREE. The next E is estate planning. You didn't learn a ton about estate planning this semester, but hopefully you're starting to think about what does it look like to have some form of a plan for when you get older and you want to prepare and make sure that what you've invested in over your lifetime, the assets that you've acquired, get passed on to the people you love. So if you haven't learned anything about that or you're interested in learning, tell me about that. Estate planning. Then the fourth FREE is education planning. That's preparing to provide for education funding for someone you love. That's the fourth element of financial planning. And then the fifth one, T, is tax planning. That's what we studied this last week about tax allocation strategies, and it's a really big part of financial planning across the board, whether you're talking about retirement planning, estate planning, education planning, investment management, which is the next one. The free tick, I, stands for investment management, investment strategies, which you learned 4 investment strategies this semester that I hope you will remember. These 4 investment strategies that were designed to help you maximize returns and minimize risk over time. Those 4 investment strategies, which I think I can hit this button and show them. Yeah, so those are asset classes. Let me show you the investment strategies. Let me get rid of my subscribe button there. So we spent a couple of weeks really focusing on investing, and this is the I in free tick. So hopefully when you get to this part of this week's assignment, if you choose to do this week's optional assignment called the Blueprint for Financial Success, then you're going to tell me a little bit about what you learned about investing, and not just what you learned. Like, don't tell me what I already know. I want to know, what did you learn? That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for information about these elements of financial planning. That's not what I'm not looking for you to regurgitate what you learned. I'm looking for you to reflect on, comment on, share a little bit about what you learned and how you feel like how it's changed the way you feel about your financial future. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to read. So when it comes to investing, I'm hoping that when we started out talking about the perfect investment, the perfect investment was something that was there is no perfect investment, but it's an idea. As a financial planner, I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm always amazed at how many people don't take advantage of the perfect investment. It is your 401k. It's the match that the company gives you. And so we started with that. I started with the perfect investment when we got into investing, and I taught you that. Hopefully you remember that. Hopefully you are ready on day one to take that strategy, the perfect investment, and put it into practice. The perfect investment, the 401k, remember, you get the match. You have to contribute sufficiently to get the match, and that's what I want you to make sure you know what that number is on day one. You not only get the match, though, you get a tax deduction. And so the deduction is a great way for you to save and build wealth, and that's why it's the perfect investment. And along with the 401k plan, you get a pretty do-it-yourself investment management platform from your company. So when you get ready to do that, if you have questions, if you want to talk that through with somebody, I hope you'll reach out. I'm always happy to do that with a previous student who's now taking that step and having that opportunity to put that into practice. It's always exciting to me to see you make those decisions for yourself. This is one of the biggest ways for you to build wealth for your financial future, for your future. It's financial future. You know what I mean. So do that, the perfect investment. And so from there, we did talk about the 4 investment strategies. This is part of Investing 101, but I promise you, if you learn these strategies, diversification, the Enron story was diversification. Remember that? Go back and watch that video again if you don't remember. Asset allocation, the most important determinant of your portfolio's performance is asset allocation. And so from there we talked about asset classes, because you need to understand these asset classes to understand asset allocation, and that's what you've been working on for the last couple of weeks. So the strategies, though, diversification, asset allocation, the number one most important determinant of your portfolio's return. And number three, what I think is the most powerful investment strategy for for someone who has a long time to invest, dollar cost averaging is, in my opinion, the most powerful investment strategy designed to help you maximize returns and to minimize risk. And all four of these strategies were specifically selected to teach you this semester because they help you maximize returns and minimize risk over time. And they work. I promise you they work. I was listening to an interview yesterday while I was on the plane. It was Megyn Kelly. I like to listen to Megyn Kelly. And she was interviewing this guy who is in real life the Wolf of Wall Street. And he wrote a book called The Wolf of Investing or something like that. And so I'm listening to Megyn Kelly interview this guy who is the actual Wolf of Wall Street. And he's talking about his book. And he's talking about how he can teach you how to grow wealth and build wealth. And he's going to demystify the secrets. And I'm listening to Megyn Kelly interview this guy. And I can't even remember his name. I'm sorry. I should know his name. But it was not an impressive. What he had to say about investing was not impressive. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street was really good at selling stuff. He went to jail, literally went to jail, and he is in recovery. He talked a lot about his recovery and the psychedelic drugs he used to overcome his addiction to Suboxone. Anyway, I was just curious. I like Megyn Kelly. She does great interviews, but clearly she's a little clueless about investing. And I mean, she did a great job trying to interview this guy, but he was just blowing smoke, okay? He was talking about things that just, trust me, these four investment strategies, they are the real thing. If you just learn how to do these in your 401k and then in your IRA, if you just do these, if you learn these and build on these, I promise you, there is no secret. There's no better way to build wealth. I don't care what book you read. I don't care what guru you want to follow. I don't care what junk they're selling on the news. You can ignore all of that. You really can ignore all of that and just focus on these four investment strategies and understanding asset allocation, understanding asset classes, and just use the brain that God gave you to reason through how you are going to allocate your investments over time using these four strategies. And they're just about bulletproof. I mean, over time, I promise you, these strategies will help you build wealth. And I don't know how the Wolf of Wall Street's book ended. I don't know exactly what strategies he was outlining, but I suspect that the best of his recommendations, the best of his book was basically what I'm teaching you in these four investment strategies. I mean, it sounded like he settled into something very basic, something very tried and true. Pick good companies, invest over the long term. I know he was talking about dollar cost averaging, even though he never used that word. And Megyn didn't understand. Megyn Kelly she didn't understand enough to just ask him, like, tell me how that works, But anyway, sorry about the long story there, but the four investment strategies, portfolio rebalancing was the last one after dollar cost averaging. And remember, dollar cost averaging had the story of Farmer Joe. Great story. Remember that. If you remember the story of Farmer Joe, it will always help you understand how dollar cost averaging works. And if you commit to a dollar amount over time, dollar cost averaging, the cows. Thanks, Ava. The cows. Remember the cows. It could be chickens. It could be pigs. It could be large cap. It could be small cap. That's how it works. So that story was designed to help you remember and understand how dollar cost averaging works. So again, get to know those different asset classes, and you want to broaden and expand those over time. And if you really want to be a great investor, you can just do a little research and see where are growth opportunities across the globe, and also in certain companies and certain sectors. And that's where it gets a little bit advanced. But the more money you have, the more you can do that. But if you're starting out, I'm telling you, the SPY, remember the SPY? I'm going to jump over to the SPY real quick and just show you. Let me get rid of this, and I'm going to jump over to the SPY. This is, in fact, the Wolf of Wall Street. When he was talking about investing, he said you could invest in just one. He called it an index fund. So I think he was talking about the SPY. If he wasn't talking about the SPY, he's clueless. Oh, I say he's clueless. If there's one investment that I would say is my absolute favorite investment, if I could only invest in one investment, period, full stop, it would be the SPY. This is the SPY. It's the S&P 500. It's an ETF, an exchange-traded fund, which is very different than a mutual fund. And mutual funds have high fees, and they trade at the end of day value. And a mutual fund is different than an index fund, which trades exactly like a mutual fund. But an ETF is different. It trades like a stock, which means if you want to buy it right now, this minute, you would buy it for that price. So it's trading at $437.03. If you put a trade in right now, you would get it for that price. Well, let's say the end of the day today, the market tanks. Some bad news comes out. Let's say that Hezbollah starts shooting those missiles into Israel, and Iran starts to shoot missiles at the U.S., and the U.S. starts to shoot missiles at everybody, and all hell breaks loose in terms of war. It could happen. I mean, anything could happen. And when anything happens, the market tanks. And so if you put this order in right now, you're going to get that price. But at the end of the day, if the market tanks, then you've put a trade on that could lose money. On the other hand, if you put on, let's say that the market is down, and you decide to buy a mutual fund right now, and you put that order in, that order isn't going to trade at the current price. It's going to trade at the end of day price. So that's the difference between a mutual fund, an index fund, and an ETF, which trades like a stock. Another thing I love about ETFs is you can sell options. You can buy and sell options on them, which is a whole nother conversation. But just trust me, if you want to be good at investing, just understand a few basic things like why an ETF is superior to a mutual fund. Just put that on your mind, and at some point do a little research and remember, oh yeah, I'm going to read this article. I'm going to understand that a little better. By doing these things, you're going to become, I'm giving you kind of a map to follow to become a really good investor. The main thing I want for you is that you're not afraid of investing. I want you to be a fearless investor, someone who invests without having fear. And if you use these strategies, I'm going to push the button again. If you use these strategies, you will be a fearless investor, because you will know that you have a good strategy, you have a good plan, and you'll be building wealth over your lifetime. So that's the investment strategy part of investment element of personal finance. And then there's cash flow management, which is just basically paying attention to where your money's going, where it's coming from. Cash flow is a huge part of financial planning, and we covered a lot of that this semester. So, okay, that's going to be about it. That's really all I wanted to share. But I want to answer any questions you have, especially if you're here in the Zoom room. I appreciate, again, you guys being here. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask any questions or just say goodbye. I want to say before you ask any questions that it's been my pleasure. It's always my pleasure to teach this course, but this semester's been, especially for those of you who are here and those of you who are watching later and leaving comments, it's just been a pleasure to work with you and to be a part of your journey this semester, and I hope we can stay connected. So thank you. I appreciate you. And I want to wish you the very best moving forward, and I do hope we can stay connected. I'm on LinkedIn. That's my favorite way to connect. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Telegram and Linktree and where else? Instagram. But I don't do a lot there. But LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn. If you send me a message on LinkedIn, I'll respond, and I will look forward to that. No questions, but thank you for a great semester. I'm glad you enjoyed the class, Ava. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed having you in the class, and I do owe you some points. I think I might have put them by the way, those of you who I owe points to, it's going to show up in your class participation. So if you see that you have more than 200 points, you can know that I at least thought about you and gave you a few extra points. And if you need a few extra points, you earned them, so thanks. Take care, Lonnie. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad you learned, and I hope you keep learning, because this topic, personal finance, is definitely, this semester was introduction to personal finance, and I'm hoping that you guys take what you learned and build on it for your lifetime so that you can invest without fear, build wealth, and do something with your life that you really feel good about. That's the whole point. All right, cool. I appreciate it, Lonnie. You do that. And keep me posted. Let's stay connected. I'd love to stay connected with you guys. Hey, Christina, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I'm glad we'll connect. Because, the truth is, when we used to be in class, I would connect with people eyeball to eyeball, but now it's just, I see your names, and you're giving me all this great feedback, and so when we connect on LinkedIn, I'll remember you. I promise I'll remember you, and I'll look forward. Sometimes I get a message from a student. You may not remember me, but it's like some students who are here and connecting, I never forget. I can tell you students I've worked with over the years, so I hope we can have that kind of relationship. And again, even if we don't have that kind of relationship, if you're part of this course and you're watching on YouTube or Facebook at 2 a.m, just know that if you ever need some help, you ever have a question, you have an issue you need, some coaching on, I'm here for you. That's part of what I want to be in this community. It's one of the best things I get to do in my life is teach this course on personal finance, and I'm grateful to be able to do that, but mainly because I get to kind of contribute all through your life as you have challenges and face questions and issues related to personal finance or just life in general. Reach out. I look forward to connecting with you. So thanks. All right, guys, gang, ladies and gentlemen, peoples of all places and wherever you are, God bless you, and thank you very much for being here, and I'll see you later. I'm going to end there before I tear up. No, I don't really tear up. I say goodbye to my mom every time I go see her, and she used to cry, but now it's like, I'll be back next month, Mom, don't cry. So I won't cry. I won't. I never cry. But I will miss you. I'll miss our time together, and I'll look forward to connecting with you. Final note, if you have questions about your capstone, give me a good, clear question, share some screenshots related to your question, and give me permission to do a tutorial video with your questions, and I will post a tutorial video to answer your questions on the capstone assignment. If you have questions about your capstone assignment, chances are other students have the same question, and so a tutorial video for answering those questions is usually a good idea, and I'm happy to do that. I just need to hear from you with specific questions, with some good screenshots to give me good clarity on what your question is, and then I will jump into your plan. I'll unpack it, and I'll answer your question, and I'll do a tutorial, and I'll share it to our playlist. So please help me with that. If you have questions, I look forward to doing that. Okay, what's the best way to contact us? Email is the best way to, Alani. I'd say email. Actually, the best way is text message. If you look on the syllabus, you'll see my mobile phone number, and that's my iPhone, and that's the easiest. I mean, when I get a text message, I'm like you. I see it immediately. When I get an email, I'll see it eventually, and I will answer it. If you're going to send me a question, though, on the Capstone, you'll want to do that with an email. But if I were you, honestly, if I were you, I would send the email, and then I would send a text message to say, hey, I sent you an email. And then I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll get right on it, or I'll get on it soon. So that's what I would do, Alani. Text me. But if you're sending me content that you have questions on, you'll want to do that in an email so that you can, put it all together, and we'll have a good way to communicate with more information. Cool. Cool. I'll look forward to it. Can confirm text was, text is very convenient. So Ava, are you asking me to confirm that? I will confirm that text messages are the best way for you to, have a quick response from me, or to make sure that I see it. Oh, you can confirm it because I texted. Oh, cool. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Ava, that's right. And a whole bunch of students have texted me, and it's generally the best way to get my attention. But I do respond to emails, although I got to tell you, sometimes I get emails where it's like, you know what, I covered that question in the Zoom meeting, and I'm not going to answer it. Just kind of get an attitude about that. So anyway, I still try to answer questions that I already covered in the Zoom meeting, but I'm not real thrilled about it, honestly. So thank you guys for watching the Zoom meeting, and for leaving your comments, and for your engagement. Thanks so much. Okay, very good. I'm going to end, unless you have a question going once, going twice. I'll see you out there in LinkedIn land, and good luck on your capstone, and great job this semester, you guys. You did a great job, and best of luck in your next course, in your next semester, in graduation, and in your whole life. All the best. Take care. Okay, now I'm going to jump on over to, I usually end the Zoom meeting after I end the broadcast, but I'm still broadcasting live to Facebook and YouTube. So before I go, I want to just leave a message for you. I wonder if I can do this with Mr. Cartoon Head Senior. Yes, this is me pretending to be me. That was fun. But anyway, I just want to leave a message, comment, final salutation to all of you who watched on YouTube and Facebook and anywhere else. Thank you for that. Please do leave a comment. There's no class collaboration this week in this assignment, but I do appreciate your comments. I do appreciate you liking the videos, and this one just leave a comment and say goodbye, and I'll appreciate that. So I'm saying goodbye to you now, and I do hope we can connect in the future on LinkedIn. If you ever have a question, or if I can ever help you in any way, I will look forward to doing that. So I'm going to hit the finish button now.